do with our drinking water supply. Last month, the City Commission was informed by one of its contract engineers that the availability of treatable water to Fort Lauderdale and the cities it supplies, such as Wilton Manors, can disappear as early as the year 2033. This is because of the increasing restrictions on the amount of water that can be drawn from the Biscayne Aquifer. What ideas would you propose to your colleagues to come up with a City Commission proposal to Fort Lauderdale to increase the supply of drinking water in Broward County? Do you believe that one of the solutions to this problem should involve any restrictions on commercial and residential development? And I'd like to begin with Ms. Carson. Now, if you want to use this microphone, come on.
To answer your last question, I believe that we would have to look at what the restrictions on commercial water usage would be before we say we would entertain them. I believe that we will have a drinking water problem and we will have to address, and the city is already doing this with our landscaping and our smart growth, learning how to maintain water through proper mulching or siding or embankments. All of our water comes from the same place, so once we continue to learn to conserve, learn to irrigate when properly. There's also been suggestions of, I don't know how feasible it would be, but water barrels. Innovative ideas to determine or to help us and teach us to conserve. We will also need to speak to our young people when they're in school. I know they're already starting to do this, to share with them ideas about environmentally savvy ways to make sure that our water supply is with us for a long time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Fiore.
We are going to have to conserve our water. It is a limiting factor of growth and development in South Florida, as always has been, always will be. However, every day the city of Fort Lauderdale pumps millions of gallons an hour out into the reefs, into the ocean with their outfalls from the sewage treatment plants. That could be put back into a gray line system, given out back to the residents to use for irrigation with treated wastewater. It's done in many areas. It's also something that would save a lot of water because probably most of the water that we use is for irrigation. This is water that's actually damaging the reefs and the ecosystems offshore. This would allow this water to be reused again. It would filter back down into the aquifer, and it's probably one of the best and most known ways to actually turn water around and reuse it.
Thank you. Mr. Newton.
Well, the first thing, if I get my kids and my wife to take shorter showers, I think that would help a lot. But I don't understand, when we have a shortage of rainwater, we go and we conserve 2 days a week, 3 days a week, then 2 days a week, then 1 day a week. We need to do that year round. This thing about having sprinklers on whenever you want, I just don't understand. It takes one good watering a week to keep your lawn green. And on your sprinklers, I think every person in this city should have a sensor that says if it rains, then it stops from turning on your sprinklers on. And if it hasn't rained, it'll let the electric flow and let the pumps turn on. But we need to really conserve that way. Like everybody else has said here, we irrigate so much. We use so much water just for our plants and our grass and our lawns and all other things that we do like that. We have to stop using so much water for that. That is the waste that we have there. Pompano Beach has the gray water line, the purple water line, and they do a wonderful job. It doesn't have any smell, but it's all for irrigation. And it's working wonderfully, and I think they've saved between 15 and 20% of the water up in Pompano. So we can learn from them.
Okay, follow-up question. How would you pay for that gray line?
Well, it's pretty simple. If you want it, we have to pay for it. You know, it's funny, people say they want their taxes lowered, but then you have the same cost so much to run a city. So what do? We turn around and we charge you more for your water. You know, we charge you more for your gas. I mean, how do you think we get the money for the roads to get repaid? They're from a few pennies a gallon of any gas station that you buy gas in Wilton Manors. So always buy gas in Wilton Manors because it comes back to the city. But we have to pay for it, plain and simple. If we want it, we're gonna have to pay for it. But we all have to pay for it. I don't think just some of us should, all of us should.
Thank you, Ms. Carson.
Well, I didn't suggest that as one of my options.
Well, that was the question that the
Okay.
questioner asked, how would you pay for the gray line?
I wouldn't use that as an option right now, but in terms of creating revenues, again, I would make sure that we properly were conservative in our use of water, and that starts everywhere. So
Okay. Mr. Fiore?
I would let Mr. Newton pay for it.
I think that we most likely would have to go out to a bond to fund it, and then it would be paid back over a series of years. However, when you look at the cost alternatives of desalinization plants and other forms that are incredibly expensive, it actually would be cheaper to do this now than it would be 10 years from now, building a desalinization plant that costs $700–800 million, and like Tampa's has, they still can't get it working properly. So, yes, we would have to pay for it, but I think in the long run, we'd end up saving ourselves money.